All right, yeah, this is a patron from Brita, another Dizzy Mizz Lizzy, and as I said, like just from the name alone, I knew they must have been Beatles fans. It's one of my favorite. Well, it's not even a Beatles song, but it's one of my favorite songs the Beatles did, Dizzy Miss Lizzy. But yeah, this is wrote about Lennon's death. Um, yeah, I think the last one. I can't remember if we've done any song about Lennon other than the Queen one. Life is Real. Yeah, so I know it affected Freddie Mercury bad. Like John Lennon was his guy, and yeah, I know it affected him bad. But yeah, let's see what Dizzy Miss Lizzy is saying. Yeah, so it's 11:07 p.m. and yeah, it's a song about Lennon's death. Let's go.
Love hidden in my mind, let it out just shine, let it out loud. Oh, I'm calling out your name and running in the rain, let it out loud. I love to turn you on. The dream is always strong. Do-do-do, bow, bow. And love floating in the air. And I can see you there. Do-do-do, bow, bow. All of was lost on a night in December. Only a madman to blame.
great song, but because there's a lot of like little things they put in the video that makes you think that they, because I've watched on it's a confessionals, one of the confessional podcasts, someone who wrote a book fact checking all of the things about John Lennon's death, and nothing makes sense. So when I do believe, is that the CIA badge? And they put up the thing secret mission. Now here's the thing this guy says, right? We know MK Ultra is real. That's not a conspiracy anymore. They've like admitted to it that they was trying to create people that can kill without emotion, or you can just completely control. And there was different like LSD and different drug experiments trying to do it. See, you have to listen to this guy. I listened to the podcast, and I've always thought, but one of the ones that's not in conspiracy thing is that if you say where did John Lennon get shot, everyone says the back. He got shot in the back. That's the what people think. But actually, this guy said if you fact check the thing, he actually the surgeons that operated on him said nah, he was shot from the front, and he was shot in a tight cluster of bullets around his heart, which means he'd have died. He died pretty much instantly. But that's like it wasn't. And someone wrote saying no, he was shot in the back, and I think it was one of the nurses that actually tried bringing him. Well, he got rushed to the hospital. They tried to do what they could, but he was dead. Do you know what I mean? He'd gone. But yeah, um, she said, yeah, well, someone wrote that he got shot in. No, he got shot in the back, and one of the women that worked on him was, oh well, you weren't the one operating on him. We know what we was dealing with. He was shot in the front, and um, yeah. But there's loads of other things, like for example, Mark Chapman. Another thing that's always been said with Mark Chapman is not to mention him. Never ever talk about Mark Chapman, because the whole reason he did that was because he wanted to steal Lennon's fame. So it become a thing of don't mention Mark Chapman. But then actually, if you like, this guy fact checked that, and he was like, he wasn't obsessed with John Lennon. He wasn't a loser, like outsider kind of guy that he gets painted at. He wasn't. He had like a business or whatever. Um, and I haven't checked what he said. I'm just going off of what this guy said. But he did write a book about it, and he spent years researching the Lennon death. Um, but apparently, the psychiatrist, I think it was a psychiatrist or whoever was working after Mark Chapman got arrested, he got so like when he was locked up, he had, I don't know whether it was a psychiatrist or a lawyer or whoever got told to, who was looking after him, like his minder, he was directly involved with MK Ultra and mind control, um and the way this guy, like, you have to watch the podcast because I'm not doing a good job of explaining it all, because it's a lot of information that he throws at you. But yeah, I have a feeling that this band kind of, because the way he explains it in the book is that the CIA killed John Lennon, but not because of, well, one, because um John Lennon was talking a lot of shit about Nixon at the time, and that it was that administration, I think, that was in power or whatever. But this guy who wrote the book about it, so I don't think it was a case of that they thought John Lennon was so powerful that they had to take him out like people think. He's like, I just think that they wanted to try this new thing to see if it worked, to see if you can get someone to kill someone, and but they don't even reckon that he don't even reckon that Mark Chapman was the actual shooter. And here's another weird thing about that: the security guard of is it the Dakota where Lennon got shot? The security guard told Mark Chapman to run. That's what I mean. Yeah, the confession. Just put in on YouTube the confessionals. John Lennon. I'm sure it will come up. Let me see. Actually, as I don't want to be sending people, but yeah, there's a lot of things, and also it's a very clever thing to do. Like I say, you don't talk about Mark Chapman, but if you don't talk about Mark Chapman, you can never understand what happened. And that's what I mean. People have an assumption of him that he was a loser, weirdo, failure, Lennon fanatic who wanted to be as famous as Lennon, so he killed him to be more famous than Lennon. So don't talk about him. But then actually, this guy's like, that's not his life. He wasn't a loser. He wasn't a social outcast. He wasn't like. I'm just checking if the podcast comes up. Yeah, hold on. Oh, it's not even coming up. It was definitely a confessionals podcast. Tony Merkel and I'm sure that was his name. It's a great podcast though, but yeah, he said a lot of fascinating thing, which pretty much like completely throws doubt on the whole Lennon murder um thing. It doesn't seem like it was Mark Chapman that did it. He didn't have some weird fascination with Lennon. He also said in his head he didn't want to, but it was like he couldn't stop himself. But yeah, then the guy that was sent to mind Chapman was someone who was CIA and like not head but high up part of the MK Ultra thing. So yeah, I do think there's definitely something went on, and like I say, I don't think it. I think it was like just trying out and trying it out. Like it's a lot. Um, it's a lot better to try it out on just some famous singer than actually some leader of a country or, do you know what I mean, some actual enemy. You just try it out on John Lennon, and John Lennon was already upsetting the American government, keep talking shit. Um, but yeah, if you can, it doesn't come up on YouTube, but if you can find it, the Confessionals podcast, and yeah, guy goes on, he wrote a book about the John Lennon thing, but yeah, it's fascinating, especially the thing of that he was shot in the front, not the back, but people were told it was the back, and yeah. But yeah, great song, and yeah, like I say, I think there's definitely more to the Lennon death than just crazy Mark Chapman decided to take his life. But yeah, anyway, that's the reaction. Sweet.